Joining me now in studio is Assistant Democratic Leader Congressman James Clyburn of the great state of South Carolina. Leader Clyburn, thank you for coming back to the Sunday Show.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me back.
So before we talk about the primary calendar, let's talk about that Chinese spy balloon shot down over the Atlantic. Ordered shot down by the Pentagon, by the president, on orders from the president. Right decision?
Oh, I think so. And I think the way he did it was the right way to do it. Giving the order for it to be shot down, but waiting until whatever debris may come from it, which I understand was, 7 nautical miles of debris, would be out over the waters. And it just happened. It was off the coast of South Carolina. We don't want all that stuff falling on Myrtle Beach. So much of our economy is based on tourism. So I'm pleased as the president ordered that they wait until they get out over the waters.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the big shakeup in the Democratic primary calendar. South Carolina benefits by becoming the first in the nation primary. But why is this shakeup of the Democratic primary calendar necessary?
Because I think you should always update your policies and your procedures based upon the realities of the times within which you live. You know, there was a time when it was great for Iowa and New Hampshire and all of that to be first. But the fact of the matter is our party should reflect its demographics. And I think that South Carolina and Michigan, Georgia, Nevada, all should be brought into the mix because you got African Americans. And then South Carolina is as rural as Iowa. I don't understand why they seem to think that you got to be in Iowa because it's rural. They should come to my district and let me show how much corn and cotton and even a little bit of tobacco still left. It is rural throughout South Carolina, and we have to understand the vast majority of African Americans in this country still live in the South. They live in the rural South. And so this is all about recognizing that and giving credence to all of that.
And every time you've been here, you've made a point to talk about the fact that South Carolina is a rural state.
Sure.
There's a new poll out, Washington Post poll, that had an interesting statistic. It shows that 62% of those surveyed would be, quote, angry or, quote, dissatisfied if President Biden won re-election, and 58% disapprove of his handling of the economy, which is astounding to me given the January jobs report, which is on top of many positive jobs reports and economic indicators. I'm just wondering, given those numbers, should President Biden reconsider a run for re-election?
Well, I hope he announces real soon. I hope he runs for re-election, and I think the country will respond very positively to his candidacy. And I would say, as he often says, don't compare him to the Almighty, compare him to the alternative. And that's what you do when you get into a campaign. Yes, Biden will be running against someone. Compare the records and compare the personalities, compare the visions for the future of this country, and then make your decisions. And if that's the way you do it, Joe Biden will be in very good shape, I believe.
And what do you say to those for whom his age, he just turned 80, in his most recent birthday, what do you say to the folks who say, you know, the guy is too old? Should age be a consideration, or is his record and tenure in the Oval Office right now the thing that folks should focus their attention on?
Everything should be considered, but what is controlling is what you have to do. I have seen a lot of 72-year-olds not as capable as this 80-year-old. I'm 82, and I think I'm just as capable as anybody else. However, I do know that at 82, things are a little bit different than 72, but I'm still fine. My health is good. I still remember things. Every now and then, I might call one of my daughters the wrong name, but other than that, I usually get to them.